Hey, good morning, sports lovers. Going to be leaving for home now. Back to my calling, back to my ministry, back to my people. But let me tell you something, my mind is blown. My mind is absolutely blown. And I'm a little bit concerned. Actually, I'm a lot concerned because I think possibly after this video, I might be in trouble. So hang on to your seatbelts, because I'm going to say some things here that are going to upset a lot of people. And that's okay, because I'm called to speak the truth and preach the gospel. So I'm going to start with something I saw in government yesterday, over the last couple of days. And then I'm going to go over to something that I saw on TikTok. And then I'm going to tie the two in. And it has to do with religious ideology. Okay. So in the last 3 years, we have had major conflict in South Africa and the world due to the Israel-Gaza affair. And we've seen a lot of polarization of people due to what is going on there, okay? Particularly in our own country, where Durko decided that it would be a fantastic idea to take Israel to the ICJ when superpowers, China, Russia, America, no one in Europe, we are not superpowers, but no one in Europe, no other country in the world was prepared to do that. But our government decided to do that under the lead of Naledi Pandor, who is a confirmed and self-admitted Islamist, right? Married to an Islamist, confirmed Islamist, right? Now, we have a big situation brewing with all these allegations, which seem to be pretty spot on and make perfect sense, that are being made by the United States. I'm just recapping that we had prior knowledge of October 7th, that the RCJ case was possibly prepared months before Hamas even attacked Israel. And now, of course, the entire MTN scandal, where they're showing that money was funneled through MTN to Iranian proxy terrorist organizations, as well as to the Taliban. And with that all being said and all that happening, lo and behold, as this massive political bomb is ticking and preparing to explode, we now have that very same minister, ex-minister, now coming on television and giving a speech about how bad Cyril Ramaphosa is and how the government all of a sudden needs to answer certain questions, and sort of doing her absolute best to slide away and distance herself from the current ANC, by attempting to climb onto this moral high ground, when in fact the entire thing, it appears, originated from her ministerial portfolio, and it was her ministerial portfolio that opened these doors to these organizations. But now the ANC has lost its way, and Cyril Ramaphosa shouldn't be asking South Africa the questions. We should be answering the questions, or he should be answering the questions, when you were part of that entire snake nest, Now, I believe two things about that. A, these people have got money outside the country and are now deeply concerned that they are going to be some of those that are going to be targeted with sanctions, personal sanctions from the United States of America. I also believe that they're going to encounter travel bans And I also believe that, I'm watching this whole thing unfold in Venezuela, that they are in their personal capacities in danger of some kind of physical retaliation from America, particularly if it is established that they were involved personally in deaths of American soldiers and American personnel and Israeli soldiers and Israeli personnel as a direct result of their funding and actions in favor of these terrorist organizations. So they've got problems. All right, so that's that, okay? Then, last night, I watched a video of she must be 7 or 8-year-old girl dressed in wedding regalia, being dragged out of her hut and given to a man of about 60 years old in a wedding ceremony in a place, screaming, crying, begging, literally sounding like a small animal about to be slaughtered, as she's dragged out of her home and put on the donkey to be carried off by this new husband who is old enough to be her great-grandfather, in absolute terror and fear, in a place that I can see by the clothing and the head garb is clearly either Afghanistan or Pakistan or on the border, and these people are clearly Muslims, right? And this is where I'm going to join the two now, okay? People must understand the history of the Islamic movement and Muhammad to understand where we are now. The Islamic movement came to being approximately 1400 years ago, 500 to 600 years after the death and resurrection of Christ. The Islamic movement has always been a political movement with religion in the background. The movement is about world domination and subjugation. The movement is about territory, money, and control. I've been on this planet, as I've told you many times, 56 years. And in 56 years, I've watched, over the last 5.5 decades, hundreds, if not thousands, of terrorist attacks taking place around the world. I've watched genocides, I've watched bombings, I've watched beheadings, I've watched whatever you've watched and what has been available for us to watch. And of course, the internet has made it much easier to watch these things. And out of all those thousands and thousands and thousands of terrorist activities, I can probably count on these two hands how many weren't committed by Islam. Now people say those are the radicals. In 1939, only 1/3 of the German population were in support of Adolf Hitler. The rest were moderates. If only 1/3 of Islam are involved in this and the rest are moderates, why are there moderates not speaking out against these types of things? You've got to understand that, right? A couple other things you need to understand is because this is about, that the Quran and the Hadith and the Surah make it plain that you and I, as non-Muslims, are not even considered human beings, all right? If we wish to live amongst Muslims, we must either convert to Islam or we are considered what they call dhimmi, which is subhuman, and we are then forced by Islamic law to pay what they call the jizya, which is a religious tax, in order to stay in their areas. Now, when you see that, and you start all of a sudden seeing our governments move towards outright supporting this ideology and religion, knowing what you know about our government and the direction they've been taking us, can you not see the similarity in the ideology of Islam and the ideology of the ANC? The ANC, in Islam, it tells the Muslim that it is acceptable to defraud and lie to the infidel. I don't want to use the word they use for infidel, but it's the K word, and that is where the K word originates. Okay? And I don't want to use it here because then it will be put into my mouth. But go and read it. Go and read it. All of us that are not Muslim are the K word. And all of us are subhuman. And all of us are allowed to be defrauded and conned in the name of Islam, without any consequence or conscience. Now, when you hear and you see that and you read that and you see the way that this current government is behaving, does it not make perfect sense why are they siding with that particular ideology? Because that is exactly the way they view us. You know what I'm saying? It's not about, you've got to start understanding something in this planet. All right, on this planet. There are two ideologies. We have Judaism and Christianity, right? And then you have this, all of a sudden, 600 years later, after Christ has ascended, you have this offshoot, corrupted version of Judaism and Christianity. That's mission is to destroy the Jews and destroy the Christians who speak about Christ more often than they speak about their own prophet in the Quran, but yet deny him as God, all right, and deny that he is the Son of God, yet believe that he is currently standing on the right side, or sitting on the right hand of God, and that he will come back and judge the world as a prophet of God. They don't believe that Muhammad is coming back. They believe that Christ is coming back to judge the world. But they also don't believe that Christ was crucified, and they don't believe that Christ resurrected on the third day. They believe he was taken up to heaven alive. Okay. So what they've done is they've taken the Gospels and they've corrupted it in favor of what they want to push upon the world. Now that heresy is what we describe as Christians as an antichrist belief system. And the Bible teaches us, we're constantly pointing fingers at our own pastors and saying this guy's a false prophet and that guy's a false prophet and that guy's a false prophet. But when you read the New Testament, who is really the false prophet that Paul and Christ and others refer to throughout the Word of God? And who is really the Antichrist? Is it a person or is it an ideology? Think about that when you look at what is happening in our own country and what is happening around the world. Wherever these people go, chaos follows. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Europe, they've gone there. It's chaos. England, chaos. America, chaos. The only place in the world where there's no chaos, when I say the world, the only place, Australia, chaos. New Zealand, chaos. The only former Western civilization where currently there is no chaos is Poland. Poland. And why is that? Because Poland will not allow them in. Give that some thought. Have a blessed day. And God bless you all. And remember, Jesus Christ is King. The only one who will return, and the only one who can forgive sins, and the only one who can rescue you and save you and sanctify you. God bless. Cheers.